Have you ever wondered if science could reveal the true nature of God? For centuries, science and spirituality have been considered two separate realms. Science is based on facts and evidence, while spirituality relies on faith and belief. But what if these two forces are not opposing, but actually connected? What if science, with its quest for truth, could help us understand the divine? In this video, we'll explore a scientific experiment that claims to reveal the nature of God. It was conducted by a group of top scientists in the field of quantum physics who sought to test whether consciousness is connected to the physical world. What they found could change everything we know about both science and spirituality. For centuries, we've asked the question, what is the nature of God? Where does God fit in a world dominated by science? Some say God is a force beyond comprehension. Others argue that God is a universal intelligence embedded in the very fabric of the universe. We've often separated science from spirituality, assuming that one cannot explain the mysteries of the other. But what if science could be the missing link? What if our understanding of consciousness and energy can actually reveal the truth about the divine? This experiment didn't just test physical laws. It aimed to explore the very nature of reality and the role consciousness plays in shaping it. Quantum physics tells us that reality is not what it seems. At the quantum level, particles can behave in ways that defy logic and explanation. They can exist in multiple places at once. They can even change based on observation. This leads to a profound question. What if God is not separate from the universe, but is part of the very consciousness that shapes reality? Could God be a form of universal intelligence, interwoven into the very fabric of existence? What if consciousness itself is divine? The scientists conducting the experiment were not only testing quantum particles, but they were also testing the boundaries of human consciousness. Their goal was to see if human awareness can actually affect physical reality. Could the very act of perception change the way the universe operates? The results of the experiment were stunning. They showed that consciousness is deeply connected to the universe. It's not separate from it as we once thought. In fact, consciousness appears to play a role in shaping reality itself. Could this be proof of a higher intelligence? Could this be the divine force that governs the universe? This experiment opens up new possibilities for understanding both science and spirituality. It suggests that the universe is not just made up of matter, but also of consciousness, a divine intelligence that shapes everything we experience. In the next sections, we'll dive deeper into the details of this experiment and what it means for our understanding of God. Stay tuned as we explore how science might be able to reveal the true nature of God. This discovery could change everything we thought we knew about reality, the universe, and our connection to the divine. Let's dive deeper into the experiment that could reveal the nature of God. This experiment wasn't just about testing the physical world. It was designed to understand the connection between consciousness and reality. A team of quantum physicists wanted to see if human consciousness could actually affect the behavior of quantum particles. Before we get into the details of the experiment, let's first understand what quantum physics is. Quantum physics is the study of the smallest particles in the universe, things like electrons and photons. At the quantum level, particles don't behave like anything we can see in our everyday world. They don't follow the rules of classical physics. They can be in two places at once. They can behave like both waves and particles. And most interestingly, they can be influenced by observation. Now, let's get back to the experiment. The goal was simple. Test whether human consciousness can influence the behavior of quantum particles. The experiment involved a device that fired particles through a barrier. On the other side of the barrier, there were detectors that recorded the particles' behavior. But here's where it gets interesting. When the scientists observed the particles behaved differently than when they were not observed. This led to a startling conclusion. Consciousness influences reality. But how does this relate to God? If consciousness can influence quantum particles, does this mean our consciousness is connected to a higher intelligence? Could the nature of God be tied to consciousness itself? The idea that consciousness can influence reality goes beyond just physical particles. It suggests that consciousness is an active force in the universe. It's not just something that receives information, it shapes the information it receives. This means that our thoughts, awareness, and intentions have a profound impact on the world around us. This discovery challenges the traditional view of God as an external, detached entity. It suggests that God might be something more intrinsic, a universal consciousness that exists within everything. Instead of God being an isolated force, this theory proposes that God is embedded in the very fabric of the universe, present in every particle, every thought, and every action. If God is this universal consciousness, it changes how we view the divine. It's no longer a distant, abstract concept. God is part of everything. God is in us. God is within our consciousness, shaping and guiding the universe. This view aligns with many ancient spiritual teachings. For example, in Hermeticism, the principle of as above, so below, as within, so without, reflects the idea that what happens in the microcosm, our consciousness, affects the macrocosm, the universe. In Hinduism, the concept of Brahman suggests that God is the ultimate consciousness, the source of everything. And in Buddhism, the idea of oneness points to the interconnectedness of all beings, showing that God is not separate from us but part of us. So, what does this experiment mean for our understanding of God? It suggests that God is not just an external force we pray to, but an internal force that is part of our very consciousness. This is the power of this experiment. It brings science and spirituality together in a way we never thought possible. In the next part of this video, we'll explore the implications of this discovery and how it might change the way we view our relationship with God and the universe. Could it be that our consciousness is more connected to the divine than we ever imagined? Let's keep exploring. We've explored how consciousness influences reality. Now, let's dive deeper into the idea that consciousness is not just an individual experience, but part of a universal intelligence, a force that governs the universe. If consciousness can influence quantum particles, it suggests that this intelligence is woven into the very fabric of reality. Could this be the divine intelligence that we've been searching for? The concept of universal consciousness has been a part of many spiritual traditions for centuries. Ancient cultures from Hinduism to Hermeticism have long believed that the universe is governed by a universal intelligence. In Hinduism, this intelligence is called Brahman, the ultimate source of all creation. In Hermeticism, it's said that as above, so below, as within, so without, meaning that everything in the universe is connected and influenced by this divine intelligence. These teachings suggest that God is not an external, detached entity, but a force that exists within and throughout all things. If we accept the idea that consciousness is connected to this universal intelligence, we begin to see the universe in a different light. Instead of viewing God as a distant being, we begin to understand that God is embedded in everything, in us, in nature, and in the very particles that make up the universe. God is not separate from the world around us. God is the world around us. God is the consciousness that shapes everything we experience. This idea is not new. In fact, many mystical traditions have long spoken about the oneness of all things. They've described a unified field, a connection that ties everything together. And now, science is starting to catch up. The findings of the experiment we've discussed point to the possibility that this universal intelligence is real and measurable. It's not just a spiritual belief, it's a scientific discovery. The fact that consciousness can influence quantum particles is a huge breakthrough. It shows that consciousness is not just a passive observer of the world, but an active participant in the creation of reality. This means that our thoughts, feelings, and intentions have a direct impact on the world around us. If we can consciously align ourselves with this universal intelligence, we can begin to shape our own reality. This is the power of co-creation. This discovery challenges the traditional view of God as an external force. It suggests that God is not just an entity that we pray to, but the very intelligence that governs all creation. This divine intelligence is within us and around us. It is the foundation of everything we experience. So, what does this mean for us? It means that we are not separate from the divine. We are part of this universal consciousness. By aligning our consciousness with the divine, we can begin to create the life we desire. We are co-creators of our reality, and our connection to the universe is more profound than we ever imagined. In the next part of this video, we'll explore how this understanding of consciousness and universal intelligence can help us unlock our true potential. Stay tuned as we continue this exploration of the connection between science, spirituality, and the divine. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the nature of reality and the divine, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss any of our transformative videos. Join us as we continue uncovering the connection between science and spirituality. As we explore the connection between consciousness and the divine, we begin to see how ancient teachings align with the scientific discoveries we've discussed. Throughout history, spiritual traditions have spoken of a universal intelligence that governs all life. These teachings suggest that we are not separate from this intelligence but are deeply interconnected with it. Many ancient cultures, including the Egyptians, Hindus, and Hermeticists, believed that the universe was a living entity and that God was present in everything. This idea was expressed through the concept of divine consciousness, a force that flows through all creation, connecting everything together. These teachings taught that we could access this divine consciousness by aligning our own consciousness with it. In Hermeticism, the principle of as above, so below, as within, so without, suggests that the microcosm, our inner world, and the macrocosm, the outer universe, are linked. This means that by changing our inner world, our thoughts, emotions, and consciousness, we can affect the outer world. This aligns perfectly with what the experiment uncovered. Consciousness shapes reality. In Hinduism, Brahman represents the ultimate divine consciousness, the source of all creation. Everything in the universe is a manifestation of Brahman, and we, as individual souls, are all connected to this higher intelligence. In this tradition, the goal of life is to realize that we are one with Brahman, to understand that the divine is not separate from us, but part of who we are. These ancient teachings and modern science seem to be pointing in the same direction. Consciousness is not separate from the universe. It is, in fact, a part of it, a divine energy that flows through everything. This idea challenges the conventional view of God as an external force that is separate from the world. It suggests that God is not an isolated being that we pray to from afar, but a universal consciousness that is embedded in all things. In fact, the divine is within us as well as around us. We are all connected to this divine energy. The implications of this discovery are profound. If consciousness is the key to understanding the divine, then we can begin to unlock our true potential. We can align ourselves with the universe's energy, shaping our own lives and reality through our thoughts, emotions, and actions. This means that we have the power to co-create our reality with the universe. By raising our consciousness and aligning it with the divine, we can change the outcomes of our lives. We are not passive observers of the world around us. We are active participants in the divine flow of creation. In the next section, we'll explore how we can use this knowledge to unlock our full potential. What practices can we adopt to align our consciousness with the universal intelligence? Stay tuned as we dive into powerful techniques that can help you unlock the divine power within you. Now that we understand the connection between consciousness and the divine, the next step is to explore how we can use this knowledge to unlock our true potential. If consciousness shapes reality, then by aligning our consciousness with the universal intelligence, we can begin to shape our lives and achieve our deepest desires. The first step is to raise your consciousness. This means becoming more aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It means understanding that everything you think, feel, and do has an impact on the world around you. Your thoughts are energy, your emotions are energy, and your actions are energy. When you consciously choose to focus on positive thoughts and emotions, you begin to align your energy with the universe. One powerful practice for raising your consciousness is meditation. Meditation helps you quiet the mind and connect with your higher self. It's a way to clear away the distractions and tune into the universal consciousness. When you meditate, you create space for new ideas, insights, and inspirations to flow into your mind. You begin to see the world through a different lens, a lens that is aligned with the divine. Another technique to raise your consciousness is affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that help reprogram your mind. When you repeat them consistently, they begin to shift your beliefs and thought patterns. For example, you could say, "I am one with the universe. I am aligned with divine energy. I am a co-creator of my reality." By repeating these affirmations daily, you begin to change the way you think and feel about yourself and the world around you. Visualization is another powerful tool. When you visualize your goals and desires, you are sending out energy into the universe. You are aligning your mind with what you want to create. The more vividly you can see your goals in your mind, the more energy you send out into the universe to bring those goals into reality. Visualization helps you tap into the universal intelligence and harness its power to create your desired reality. But raising your consciousness is only one part of the equation. The next step is to take inspired action. You can meditate, affirm, and visualize all you want, but if you don't take action, nothing will change. Action is the bridge between your thoughts and the reality you want to create. Inspired action is not about forcing things to happen or acting out of fear. It's about listening to your intuition and taking steps that feel aligned with your higher self. When you take action from a place of love, trust, and alignment with the universe, you begin to co-create with the divine. You start to see synchronicities appear in your life, and opportunities that were once hidden will begin to reveal themselves. This is where the magic happens. When your consciousness is aligned with the universal intelligence and you take inspired action, you become a co-creator of your reality. The universe begins to work with you, not against you. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in harmony with the divine flow of life. In the next section, we'll explore how you can maintain this alignment and stay connected to the divine, even when challenges arise. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the practical steps for sustaining your spiritual growth. We've explored how to raise your consciousness and take inspired action, but the final step is maintaining your alignment with the universal consciousness. It's easy to stay aligned when things are going well. But what happens when challenges arise? How do you stay connected to the divine when life seems difficult? The key to maintaining alignment is consistency. This is where daily practices come in. To stay aligned with the universe, you need to make these practices part of your everyday life. It's not about doing something once and expecting immediate results. Transformation takes time. It's about committing to spiritual growth every single day. One powerful practice is gratitude. Gratitude helps you stay in a high vibration state. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you align yourself with the energy of abundance. Start each day by listing a few things you're thankful for. It could be anything, from your health to your relationships to the simple joys in life. The more you practice gratitude, the more you'll notice how it shifts your energy. Another powerful tool is journaling. Writing down your thoughts, intentions, and feelings allows you to gain clarity on your spiritual journey. It helps you track your progress and reflect on your goals. Journaling is also a great way to release any limiting beliefs or negative emotions that arise, keeping your energy clear and focused on your desires. But maintaining alignment isn't always easy. Life can throw obstacles in your path, and it can be difficult to stay focused when things aren't going the way you want. That's when patience comes in. It's important to trust that everything is happening for a reason. The universe has its own timing, and sometimes things take longer than we expect. When challenges arise, remember that you don't need to fight against the current. You don't need to force things to happen. Instead, practice surrender. Let go of the need to control every aspect of your life. Trust that the universe is guiding you to exactly where you need to be. Another important aspect of maintaining alignment is self-care. Taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional health is crucial to staying connected to the divine. When you neglect your well-being, it becomes harder to align with universal consciousness. Make sure you're getting enough rest, eating healthy foods, and taking time for activities that bring you joy. When you feel good, your energy is higher, and you're more able to align with your true self. Lastly, remember that community plays a big role in maintaining alignment. Surround yourself with people who support your spiritual growth. Join a community of like-minded individuals who share your values and beliefs. When you connect with others who are on the same journey, it reinforces your own alignment and helps you stay focused on your goals. Remember, the journey of spiritual awakening is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong process. By practicing consistency, gratitude, and self-care, you can stay aligned with the universal consciousness and continue to grow spiritually. The more you align with the divine, the more you'll begin to see your desires manifest in your life. And as you continue on this journey, you'll unlock even greater levels of power, wisdom, and potential. What's one step you'll take today to stay aligned with your true self and the universal consciousness? Share with us in the comments below.